an unfortunate, though predictable update. People has this. Sydney Sweeney is addressing her highly publicized American Eagle denim ad in an emotional interview with People. Came under fire, of course, for this ad. We know about that. Sweeney tells People, I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and love the brand. I don't support the views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Sweeney tells People she's someone who leads with kindness and that she's addressing the campaign backlash to clarify her stance and dispel negativity. Anyone who knows me knows that I always try to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I've come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. So there it is. That's the backtrack. That's the walk back. That's the apology. Maybe not the full apology. That's like the lead up to the apology. That's the almost apology, the prologue to the apology. And it's a hint that, so this coming year, I'm going to bring people together. So that means she's going to do a whole bunch of woke nonsense over the next year. That's her plan. And so Sydney Sweeney is not the based right-winger that many right-wingers had hoped that she would be. What changed? Well, nothing changed. To be totally clear, nothing has changed. People want to be accepted by their peers. Not excusing it at all, but that's what this is. Especially people in Hollywood, people in entertainment, they want to be adored and accepted and flattered by the people they respect, which are their fellow Hollywood elitists. Sydney Sweeney does not want to be admired or praised by people like you or me. She doesn't want our approval. Our approval just made it worse for her, actually. That's the last thing she wants. So, she could stick to her guns and earn the adulation of right-wing Neanderthals like me, or she could back down and break her silence and say the words they want her to say and all that and earn the praise of her fellow Hollywood degenerates. And she chose the latter, as they always do. As they always do. This is how it always ends. With these, and I'm kind of mad at myself because this was my instinct every time there's a celebrity who comes out and says something or does something vaguely conservative, and conservatives desperately cling on to this person, clinging onto their legs, just on the floor, praising them because we have someone in Hollywood who's indicated that maybe they don't completely hate us. And every time that happens, I've always been, as is my custom, the negative Nancy. I've always been the guy who says, yeah, this person's not really on our side. Just wait. They're going to, you wait and see. And that's always been my take. This was the one time where I sort of tried to be optimistic about it. This is the one time where I didn't do that. I said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be that guy this time. Everyone is fawning over Sydney Sweeney. I'm not going to fawn over her, but I'll let them have their fun. I'm not going to be the guy who comes in and says, hey, by the way, she's definitely a leftist. Okay, she's going to break your heart. All right, she's going to turn around and apologize. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. And I didn't say that this time. This is the one time I didn't say it. This is the lesson I learned. The one time I decided to be somewhat optimistic, to not be totally negative all the time. The one time I decided. And she makes a fool of me too. So even though I never really bought it, I never bought the act, but and that's it. The thing that was probably definitive for her is when she had that now iconic interview with GQ and she gave her answer. The fact that, she's getting a lot of flack from the people that she actually likes, but the fact that she was praised so much by people on the right, that is probably what scared her the most. And then she went out and she had this movie that came out, and I forget the name of it, but it was a flop. And then I'm guessing that she went and hired a new publicist, and that publicist came in and said, well, the reason why it flopped is because everyone was upset about the American Eagle ad, which is not true at all, by the way. It's got nothing to do with it. So she gets this publicist, and then she puts out this very publicist-like statement about breaking the silence and all that kind of stuff. And that's it. And that's the way it always goes. And that's why, the only Hollywood actors and celebrities who ever fully become quote unquote right wing and just embrace it, and they start doing the Fox News hits and all that kind of stuff, the only ones who ever do that are the ones who've already washed out of Hollywood. Right? And maybe there might be a few exceptions, but almost always, the Hollywood celebrities who become fully out of the closet right-wingers are the ones who their career's over anyway, kind of fell apart, they washed out, they're past their prime. And then they figure, well, I've already lost the praise of my peers because I'm not relevant anymore. And so I might as well go on Fox News and at least get praise that way. And so that's what they end up doing. But when you've got a celebrity who is still like in her prime, she's still on red carpets and still a big celebrity, those types are just not, there's yet to be one who's actually come out and